Hi guys and welcome to another video, and this is just massive breaking news. News that I didn't think was going to happen a few days ago. I'm sure I read an article a few days ago on BBC Sports saying that Lionel Messi is set to sign a contract extension with Barcelona. I was thinking, okay, that whole past 12 months of him saying he wants to leave Barcelona, it's just come to an end. He's going to sign a new deal. But how wrong was I? How wrong was probably everyone else? Because FC Barcelona and Fabrizio Romano have released official statements that here Lionel Messi will not be signing a contract extension at the end of the summer. And in fact, he will be leaving Barcelona and also leaving La Liga. So La Liga, for the first time in 15 years or something like that, will not have one of Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo playing in its league. Does that kill La Liga? Potentially so. It certainly doesn't put it in good stead, does it, for the next few years? But anyway, this video isn't about La Liga, it's about Lionel Messi and 5 clubs that he is most likely to join, because I'm sure there's a lot of football fans, myself included, that are sitting there thinking we'd like a little bit of Lionel Messi. Now, unfortunately, as a Liverpool fan, I think we pretty much ruled ourselves out of buying Lionel Messi. I think our yearly budget was spent on Kanate, who I'm very, very happy with. He's going to be fantastic for us, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we can do this upcoming season. But ultimately, I don't think we're going to be in the race for Lionel Messi. Now, for me, there's 3 major European teams that are going to be in the race for him, and then 2 teams that aren't actually in Europe, but for me, still with some good funds they have and also personal connections to Lionel Messi, I think we could still potentially see him signing for one of those clubs as well. So we'll get on to those 2 final clubs a little bit later on, but there are 3 massive European giants. There's teams such as United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Juve, AC Milan, clubs like that, Borussia Dortmund, Leipzig, Bayern Munich, that have very, very good funds. Suppose you could maybe throw Arsenal and Spurs into the mix as well. Certainly Spurs. I mean, Spurs sell Kane. Why not put in a cheeky bid? Can you imagine that? It's not going to happen though, is it? Let's be honest. But yeah, Lionel Messi. Who's he likely to join out of those? Well, all the clubs that I mentioned that I personally don't think are going to be in any serious contention to be able to go for him. For me, the 3 main European clubs that are most likely to be able to sign him are Inter Milan, PSG, and Manchester City. And I'll go into detail on all of those in a second as to why I think they're going to be the main serious contenders, for certainly from the European clubs, and being able to sign him. But I remember last year when this was all kind of starting, literally last season, last summer's transfer window, this all kicked off, I think, around about the middle of August or something, where he said he wanted to leave Barcelona. He wasn't happy with the way the club was going, the presidency of the club. And actually, if I read out, and you can go and see the statements online from Fabrizio Romano and from Barcelona themselves. We'll read out Fabrizio Romano first. A very reliable source. I always check his stuff out every single day. He's been very, very good with all the things around Jadon Sancho, around Varane. I think that's going through that deal as well now, isn't it? And Wijnaldum and stuff like that. But anyway, it's his official statements. Despite having reached an agreement, this is quoted by the way, despite having reached an agreement between Barca and Lionel Messi with the clear intention of both parties to sign a new contract today, it will not be possible to formalise due to economic and structural obstacles, brackets Spanish La Liga regulation. So basically, it's all coming down to money, like 95%, 99% of things does today in society, which is, of course, sad to see. But yeah, that's what it's coming down to at the end. So obviously both parties couldn't come to an agreement, basically I think over money or something like that. There might be a little bit more to it, of course, structural obstacles, but yeah, we're probably never going to find out the exact details of that. And then if I just read out what FC Barcelona themselves said, they only released a short statement. I don't know if this is going to be their, I don't know if this is their English account that I'm going on to right now. I'm trying to load it up, but it seems to have a little bit of a problem loading up at the moment. But I think basically they just kind of like say the same as what Fabrizio Romano was saying on their page isn't loading up at the moment, because I think everyone is trying to get onto the Barcelona webpage. It's just come up there 53 minutes ago saying, latest news, Lionel Messi will not continue with Barcelona. There is a link as well to the FC Barcelona website, but I think it's pretty much been covered by Fabrizio Romano. So basically down to economic and structural regulations or obstacles. I think they actually used the term instead. But anyway, what are the 5 clubs that he is likely to join? What are the 3 clubs I said before? Inter Milan, Paris Saint-Germain, and Manchester City. Now, why do I think Inter Milan? Well, we've seen Inter Milan rise up so much over the past few seasons to really take that fight to Juventus. They've really been investing a lot of money into the club with signings such as Christian Eriksen, Hakimi, Romelu Lukaku, players like that. There's talk of Lukaku potentially going to Chelsea, and that could certainly free up a little bit of funds if he was to go, which I think would be a massive mistake for Inter Milan, unless Lukaku wants to go back to the Premier League, of course. It would be a massive mistake, in my opinion, to let Lukaku just leave Inter Milan very, very easily. But if they were to sign, they'll probably get at least 100 million, I would have thought, for Lukaku, even with his age now. I think he's come up to, his early 30s or something like that. I think certainly, 80 million plus, maybe up to around about 100 million you could get. Now, of course, Lionel Messi isn't contracted to a club, so he would be a free signing, but of course, there obviously comes a lot more than that, obviously massive wages and stuff like that and various other things. So certainly a potential departure of Romelu Lukaku certainly frees up just funds in general to fund all the not just Messi's wages, but other things in there, such as certain bonuses for doing certain particular things as well within Inter Milan, such as I'm sure you get a good bit of money if you were to deliver them like a Champions League or another Italian, Serie A title. They've really took that fight to Juventus last season, as did AC Milan, to be fair, for partway through the season, but ultimately it was Inter Milan that came out on top. They've been the big team, these past couple of seasons in Serie A, really being able to overcome Juventus. And how good would it be to see, a final battle of maybe the past, maybe 2 more seasons of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo being able to go head to head. It would massively ramp up again the interest in the Serie A. It's a league that's been on the rise in general since CR7 actually joined the league, and it would literally rise it to probably the second most watched league in European football, just behind the Premier League. And it would certainly pose. It's not going to be good for La Liga next season, put it that way. I'm guessing Luis Suarez now maybe becomes the kind of main man to watch. Potentially in that league, or Antoine Griezmann. But we're not focusing on La Liga. So yes, Inter Milan, they've always stated, I remember last year as well, they were one of the clubs that were stating their intentions that they would be very interested in being able to sign him. We know that they've got the money as well there to be able to get him. It's not the case of actually having to buy him. It would literally just be sorting out contracts and various other things, which would still be a lot of money involved. And certainly would not be an easy process, but I think that as a club that is very much in position to be able to get to. Another club, of course, is Paris Saint-Germain, who have been making a lot of signings. They want this Champions League. That's why they've come in. They've got Sergio Ramos. They've got Donnarumma, who, of course, was a winner at the Euro 2020 tournaments. They've got Wijnaldum from Liverpool. They have been fantastic with their business. Wijnaldum's a brilliant player in the Premier League and has been over the past few seasons for Liverpool. Fantastic as well with the Dutch squad at Euro 2020. He is going to be such a good signing. Ramos as well, getting him for free. All those 3 players that I mentioned that I don't think they've actually paid any official transfer fees for, which is fantastic. So if they've done it with those 3, it's very, very well likely they could go and do the same with Lionel Messi. They've been able to do it for 3 massive players within European football, which Donnarumma is certainly one of the best goalkeepers in world football. Ramos is still one of the best defenders in world football, and you could put Wijnaldum certainly in the top 10 midfielders in world football right now, and I don't think anyone would really disagree with me on that. I'm not saying he'd be in the top 5, but certainly top 10. I think he'd be there on the whole. Fantastic midfielder for Liverpool over the past few seasons, and obviously as well for the Dutch team, and they've been able to negotiate that. So why would they not be able to negotiate a deal for Lionel Messi? I think they also did something around Hakimi as well, some deal with him. After his last season with Inter Milan, I think he's now at PSG for the upcoming season. So PSG have been very, very good with their business of being able to capture players for this upcoming season that aren't contracted to any club, and that's very impressive. And I think that's something that could be once again done with Lionel Messi. And then the third club is Manchester City, who look very likely to be able to get Jack Grealish for 100 million. Now there's obviously been there's been lots of links between City and Harry Kane. It would make sense for Harry Kane to go to Manchester City because City need a new striker. Gabriel Jesus, I think on his day, is a very, very good player, but is he going to be good enough to score 25 plus goals for Manchester City per season? I don't quite think so. I think Harry Kane is the answer to that. Now, of course, signing Jack Grealish and Harry Kane is going to come in at minimum 220 million, maybe even slightly more than that. So there's already a lot of money being put on the table, but even after that, I don't know how it comes down to sporting regulations in terms of if they've signed those 2 players. Yes, of course, Lionel Messi wouldn't be necessarily a transfer fee, but ultimately it's still going to put a lot lot of money down on the table to be able to get a signature. I don't know if that kind of falls within the sporting regulations. I'm not too, of fair transfer policies and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that they go into, but we've seen in the past City got away with stuff like that. Where they took a certain thing and they appealed against they appealed against something a couple years ago, and ultimately they didn't get there. They had their ban in the Champions League removed. So I think it's something that could still happen. But I think out of the 3 European clubs, I think that the team out of those that he's most likely to join definitely has to be PSG, probably followed by Manchester City and then Inter Milan in third. But not much between Inter Milan and Manchester City. But ultimately, I do think PSG, certainly from the European clubs, is the most likely club for him to join. Now, outside of Europe, we have 2 clubs that I genuinely think these 2 clubs would have a better chance than Liverpool, for example, sending a Lionel Messi, in my honest opinion, for personal connections, for certain money things as well. We know that Liverpool are a fantastic, massive club, not still only in the past couple of years won themselves the Champions League, but ultimately we don't have the funds of other certain clubs within European football and world football in general. A lot of our money this season has already been spent on Konate, who's a fantastic signing for Liverpool, but ultimately we probably won't be making that many more transfers over the course of the summer. Now, Inter Miami are a club that I genuinely think I would not want to see Messi go and leave European football now. He's good enough to play in European football for at least another 2 to 3 seasons and could still very well then play very well in the MLS or back in his native Argentina towards the end of his, towards the end of his 30s. But yes, Inter Miami, David Beckham, of course, is very much behind that project at Inter Miami. Said that it'd be a great opportunity if the opportunity to ever sign Lionel Messi came about. He said it'd be something that he very much like to be able to do, and he said it would be very, very good. I quote him here: "It would be very, very good for the MLS franchise." And I think he's maybe got something in the works to be able to get him, and then maybe we'll get Ronaldo next season or something like. Can you imagine the 2 players at the same club like that? That would be absolutely amazing. But I think that's something that I think Inter Miami certainly have a goal like that, to be able to get both players or to certainly get one of them. And now the opportunity is here to be able to get one at no transfer fee, which is a fantastic opportunity for them. So I think they will genuinely be in the race. It's just, I think that's down to Lionel Messi. I think personally Messi would rather stay right now in European football. I think he wants another Champions League title, and he may as well stay in European football because obviously he's still good enough to be playing European football for at least another 2 to 3 years, in my opinion. So, and then maybe move on to the MLS or back to Argentina, and still potentially his former club, the club that he started his career off, New Old Boys, of course, in Argentina. Messi himself has always said that he'd like to be able to finish off his career with them, but I think it would be too early for him to go back to his boyhood club and retire with them. How old is he at the moment? 33 or 34? As I said before, he's still got another good couple years at least at the top of European football, being able to win, domestic titles, European titles, and still go back to Argentina, then and back to his boyhood club in New Old Boys, and still put in a good shift for them in his very, very late 30s. So I think that they are the 5 clubs: Inter Milan, Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, Inter Miami, and New Old Boys. Another thing as well that I forgot to mention is that City have Guardiola as manager, and Messi and Guardiola had a very, very good partnership for a number of years, arguably when Barcelona were at their best, and maybe when Lionel Messi was at his best. So maybe you could say that Manchester City, although they made quite a few and look to make quite a few big signings over the course of the summer, you could arguably put them in second place, maybe just behind PSG. In my personal opinion, I think having looked at everything now, I would personally put PSG. He will join one of these 5 clubs, in my opinion. I can't see any other club realistically coming in. I think if I had to put these 5 in an order, it would be PSG first, City second, Inter Milan third, then probably fourth, Inter Miami, and then Old Boys in 5th. I think he could quite still easily maybe play at PSG for 2 seasons, go and play in the MLS for a season or 2, and then go back to Argentina. That could be some route that he might go for. But that's personally what I think he will do. Let me guys know what you think in the comment section as well. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later.